G'day folks, Mark here again. Today I've got a bit of a different video for you, or a different format. Basically it's about a little bit about the political situation that we've got both in Western Australia and nationally. I'm being asked several times now about how to vote, who should we vote for, what's the best thing to vote for the national election, national Australian election that's coming up very shortly, I think next weekend. How to vote for that, and a little bit more of how to structure things to try and help out. We've obviously got our battle with gun rights over here, which is a lot bigger battle. We all know it's all about freedoms, it's all about weekends, it's all about overreach from government and government getting bigger and all that sort of stuff. But there's a lot more to the ingredients than meets the eye, I suppose, in some cases. And when it comes to how to vote, I honestly don't know. I'm researching along with everyone else. I very much have where I've been from a long time now, a long time ago, about going for less government. So the duopoly, as I said, or the two wings of the same bird, so our Labor and Liberal, I believe Liberal's a little better, but not much different whatsoever. The likes of the Liberal side of things with the Nationals, well, I put them in very similar place. They're a little better again, but I put them in very similar place. The likes of Labor and Greens, well, I put Greens as a lot worse. Greens and Teals a lot worse than Labor, but Labor really bad also. The rest of it, yes, there is the likes of One Nation, which I think are largely in the right place, but I don't know enough about it, and I'll do my research. I'd also comment on that, the likes of the Shooters and Fishers Party, which is still something that's called the Shooters, Farmers and Fishers Party. Yes, I think there's some merit to it, but I don't know enough. So how do I answer that sort of question? Well, someone that I have started to follow, and that is Topher Field and the Topher project. It does seem to have a fair bit of the same values in the same fashion. When he spoke about firearms, is definitely an anti the bans, that type of thing. It is a lot bigger picture, and he's focusing a lot bigger picture. He has put a video together, which I've linked down below. That's what this video is going to turn into. Basically 3 videos down there that I suggest you have a look at. Take everything with a grain of salt. Always take things with a grain of salt. Understand where they're coming from. My perception of what Topher's on about, and the gentleman he's talking to, they have done some research on how to vote. They have created a website that can give your area a how to vote card. Now keep in mind, their conversation is, it's a little bit as the Christian party. They are certainly the gentleman talking there has a Christian bias to the process. I don't think that's a bad thing. It will knock some people out of those thoughts. But have a look at their how to vote card. When I have a look, that isn't the main focus. Their main focus is about smaller government. Their main focus is about not having government overreach. It's about less taxes. It's about more freedoms. It's about all the bits and pieces that us in the firearms community totally are on board with. And from everything I've seen, I suppose in referencing also the Christian party, when I did research over here in Western Australia as to what our group was about, or our groups were about, then I did find that the Christian party over here was pro-gun in the way they were doing things, or anti-gun bans in the way they were doing things. The other side of things is what I found in doing research in a political sense is that because someone is a member of a party doesn't necessarily make them a good guy. There are good guys in the bad parties and there are bad guys in the good parties. And it's the people who know the ingredients of that equation in that situation or have done the research that can come up with that information. And from looking through, spending half an hour looking through this website of what they put together, there definitely is a lot of different names in places. It definitely moves around. They are not just voting party-wise. There's a lot of research to do. So worthwhile listening to their video. I think a valuable piece of research in working out how you're going to vote, whether that's exactly as they say or whether it's using some of the information. And the last bit of that, I would say, is that if you have a better way of letting people know how to vote, if you have a better system, then listen, absolutely put it in the comments. I believe the best way we can try and help our situation is by being more in this sort of fashion. We're all on the same page, more of us, the conservative, the freedom loving, that sort of Australian, all doing the same thing and putting weight behind that will get those parties that are valued to a higher level and those individuals that are valued to a higher level, and maybe that'll be part of one of the arrows out of the quiver that will help us sort things out. So that's that one. The next one is a young man that runs a channel called Punters Politics. Comes across a bit, I suppose, very direct about what he's saying, cuts through a lot of the BS that's out there, but has a channel that goes through a lot of what our national politics is doing in the way of shortchanging in Australia. I think he was an economics professor or something like that initially. Now this is what he does. Has been putting up billboards and things, talking about there's a fair bit of what's going on with Western Australia and our oil and gas industry. So a lot of undercover stuff or bits and pieces to tell you more about the real people who are running or potentially running West Australian politics and a fair bit of what's going on there. So this is one video I'm going to link down below there. Another channel worthwhile checking out, has a fair bit of information. Once again, take it all with a grain of salt, but that's someone worthwhile checking out as well. And the last one down there is one that I only recently found out about. Excuse me, maybe I should have known more. But it's a gentleman who has been from our Senate that has been struggling a fair bit against how nationally our government has been running to some degree or another illegitimately. Our Supreme Court, all sorts of things are actually not doing as they're supposed to. This comes into when people talk about Bill of Rights and that type of thing, what's going on, what we should have, what we should be able to do, why aren't things the way they are? Well, there's some ingredients involved with this, and definitely worthwhile understanding what he's up to and his party's up to as to a relevant video to view. That one's a little bit laborious, couple of guys talking, but they're explaining a fair bit, and it is certainly stuff that would be better if all Australians knew this sort of thing. So listen, those are 3 videos. Like I said, it's a different format of what I'm trying to put forward. And trying to basically get us all on the same page, I suppose is what you'd say. It isn't directly related to our gun bans and what's going on in Western Australia, but it is also. So definitely worthwhile looking at. And I suppose leave your comments on what your thoughts are. I basically try and stay informed. I use my channel a lot. Well, I get a lot of information from my channel. That gives me segues into things of all sorts of different information. And I feel it's probably worthwhile if I find a way to share it. This is this idea for this moment. So let us know what your thoughts are on that as well. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for checking in. Leave all your comments and stuff below. And yeah, have a good one. We'll catch you next time.